Sir, thank you. Commander, thank you for your testimony that I've now heard. Yesterday, I sent a letter to the President regarding the need to fill longstanding vacancies in critical positions, leadership positions at the VA. Can you speak to how the absence of an Undersecretary for Health and Undersecretary for Benefits has impacted veterans, their dependents, health care, and benefits?
That's a good question, sir, and I will yield to our Executive Director, Mr. Reese.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for that question. And as you know, it's imperative that we have leadership in the right places for the very simple purpose of accountability. And what we've had in the absence of an Undersecretary for Health for more than 5 years and a void for the Undersecretary for Benefits during this administration, you know, we're going through an actual national crisis of a pandemic, a world crisis of a pandemic. The largest integrated health system in the United States of America is leaderless. That's unconscionable. I mean, veterans deserve better than that. And the leaders at VA deserve better than that. And we have great confidence at the Veterans Health Administration, at the VA medical centers, and the VA regional office level, that we have great leaders that are doing great things for veterans. But in order to steer that ship, you have to have the top of those positions filled. It needs to be a priority for the administration, for the President, and certainly for the Department of Veterans Affairs to have leaders in place that can lead, and that this body can hold accountable for delivering on the promises being made and the laws being passed.
Mr. Reese, I thank you for your strong answer to that question. Let me follow up on this conversation about toxic exposure. As Chairman Tester indicated, we're on a pursuit of a three-phase approach to deal with toxic exposure. One of the things we learned just recently is that this administration supports establishing new presumptions, and in every instance that I know of, they have the authority to do so. That is not exactly what I took from the conversations and testimony from the Department of Veterans Affairs during Senate consideration of this legislation. So if the truth is that we don't want to wait any longer, the administration supports the utilization of the presumptions. The Department of Veterans Affairs has the legal authority to pursue those presumptions. Then why would we wait for what will be a period of time before the Senate can complete its work on legislation related to toxic exposures? Isn't it now time for the focus to turn to the VA and the department to do what the administration is indicating they want done?
Thank you. Let me turn to my staff to provide a very detailed answer to your question.
Mr. Chairman, I absolutely agree. First, I think the responsibility for taking care of our nation's veterans is vested in this body. And obviously, that responsibility was delegated to the Secretary of Veterans Affairs to make decisions on behalf of our nation's veterans for presumptions. And that legal authority has been established by a long-lasting framework. Unfortunately, some of the provisions of that framework has faded from the Agent Orange Act. And now we have a debate as to what should the current framework look like. And we have a discussion between a legal framework as governed by statute and regulation versus an internal framework where the Secretary of Veterans Affairs has an internal team of advisors that present to him a body of knowledge review and then a recommendation for presumptions, which, as you know, a pilot model is being designed now. Regardless of the pilot being successful or not, each administration can interpret those rules separately and very differently. We truly believe that this body has the ultimate responsibility to craft legislation, statute, that directs the Secretary of Veterans Affairs in regards to the execution of those functions. That has been neglected since the expiration of the Agent Orange Act. It gives a great model already in place, and we can change words and we can change standards all we want internal to the Department of Veterans Affairs, and the next administration is going to do the same thing. They'll interpret it differently, more stringently, and ultimately, regardless of what they recommend to the Secretary, let's all remember, you can say no. And while the Secretary holds a cabinet position, he's not truly the boss. OMB can say no. The President can say no. It's just too many people saying no when this chamber can say yes.
Ranking Member Boss.